Hey guys, Craig with JS Racing Products. We got a new video for you. How to turbo your Miata over the weekend. I know I've never done a Mazda before, but we will now.
Yeah, we will.
My girlfriend owns the Integra. You saw how to turbo your Integra over the weekend, and that was such a huge success. And she loved that car, but she likes this car better. It's just too slow for her now. So went ahead and hooked up with my buddy who supplied us with the kit for the Integra last time, which worked out really well and it's going strong. And he put us together a kit for the Miata. So pretty much a complete bolt-on kit. What we're going to do is that we're just going to put the kit on and we're going to run what's called a Voodoo box. This will allow us to not have to change injectors or fuel pump and still run a few PSI of boost without any problems. Then once that's taken care of, we're going to go ahead and throw a methanol injection kit in, just like we did in the Integra, which you know how if you followed that video, you know we actually used the methanol kit to supply all the fuel tuning. And we're going to do something similar to this, except for the Voodoo box will take care of some of it, so it won't be quite as reliant on just the meth kit. We'll throw the meth kit on and be able to crank her up then until probably till that turbo maxes out. We're looking to make right around 300 flywheel horsepower with this. It's an automatic car, Shinsen edition. She loves driving it. Heck, I love driving it. It's fun. Just needs more horsey power. So what we've kind of get you caught to speed here, all we've done so far is remove the air filter box that was here. Air filter box was here, pipe came over to this, and it sat back in there, and we also removed the what do they call it? The cross brace, sway bar thing, whatever, just to give us more space to get to. So what we're going to do now here, we'll shut the camera off, we're going to go ahead and start pulling the stuff out of the way that we don't need. For example, we got to take this bumper cover off to be able to put the intercooler in, and we got to pull off the exhaust manifold and the exhaust pipe that runs down to the cat. So all that's going to come off, and we'll pick up with some footage once we accomplish some of that. Okay guys, catch up on what we've done so far. Pulled the wheels off, loosen the inner panels so that we can go ahead and get the bumper off. Okay, so the bumper cover's off. We've also gone ahead and removed the exhaust manifold and the down pipe, factory piece of pipe that runs back down to the let's see if I show you back there, to the cat. Okay, so that's where we're at now. What we're running into is this. The kit that we got is for various Miatas, and apparently there's a slight difference. So this is actually hitting really close to my, where I have it marked right there. It's hitting really, really close. It's actually touching this hose where it right in here. I mean, I can pull this back a little bit, but not much. So we're still ahead of the game, even if we have to modify this manifold versus building one from scratch like we would have done anyway. So we're going to cut it, re-angle this piece, and take it back together. Once we have that clearing the hose, the next step is going to be to try to figure out how to put a drain in these things. These are definitely not like Hondas. I can't even see the oil pan down in there. That cross member just hides the whole thing. We literally can't get to it to save our life. So have to figure that out too. So we'll pick up when we have some more coverage here for you guys. Okay guys, small update. Just mocking up the manifold. As you see, we here, let's take this out of the way, Matt. Grab this turbo. We were able to bend and re-TIG weld the bottom primary there. And now it's, show you, not touching anymore. See, there's a nice gap in there. It was shoved tight up against. So that's done. These pans look like a pain in the butt to tap into or to try to drain to, so I'm just going to do something different. I'm going to do like a remote mount turbo does if you stick them in the rear of the car, make a surge tank, and then a tilt and oil pump, and we'll end up pumping it. Up to the valve cover. That'll make it nice and easy. So what's the next step here? I guess bolt the manifold down and try to figure out where the feed is, and we'll put the feed on it. Okay guys, so Matt's taken off the bumper plastic piece here. I think that has to go out of the way, but more importantly, we found where to feed from. Can you see the T-fitting I'm threading in there? That's a T-fitting I'm slowly threading in to a hole in the block where the sending unit used to be. Right here. So this will go into that T along with the feed line. It's already Teflon taped. So we'll pick up once we have some more coverage. Okay guys, we're trucking right along. Show you where we're at here. Got the intercooler mounted, starting on the intercooler piping. Matt's going ahead and he's going to put the clamps on next. Always orientate the clamps to make sure that they're easy to get to and they don't interfere with nothing. Got the manifold mounted, hooked up there. So you got a nice big gap now between the hose and the primary. It's not touching anymore. What else? Oh, we still have to torque this down. I went ahead and the EGR crossover tube that ran across to the back of the intake. I went ahead and took the EGR pipe off and just TIG welded it back shut, so it's like an EGR block off. That's going to get bolted back onto the intake down here and be good to go there. So we're just going to keep pounding away at it here for a little bit yet. Still only on day one. We're only into it about 4 or 5 hours, right Matt? Something like that? Right around there. And we even took time to, you know, fix the manifold. Now if you build your own manifold from scratch, you're going to have probably more time involved. In fact, that's very popular. A lot of people like to build their own manifolds. But we went ahead and got this one, and even knowing that it was for the older generation Miata, we'd probably have to make some slight changes. So the feed lines ran for the turbo off this location I showed you. So I got to get online and order a tilt and oil pump. That'll get tied into the switch 12-volt source, so when the key comes on, the pump will come on. And then I'm going to end up making a little tank that'll sit down in here under the turbo somewhere. That'll hold like, you know, half a quart of oil as a reservoir, and then the tilt and pump will pump it back out of that reservoir, and then we'll just do a real nice little 90-degree fitting right into the cap there, and it'll just circulate the oil right back in. That's going to be so much simpler and easier than having to get that stupid oil pan sorted out. We looked it up online, and people are saying that it's not that bad on the older RX-7s, but on this one, I can't even see the dang pan. You can't get to it. And the tilt and pumps aren't that much money anyway. Alright, we're going to pound away a little bit more here, and then we'll probably call it quits for this evening. Go get some food and pick her up again on another day. But this should be, I would say, at the rate me and Matt are going, what do you think, Matt? It's a 2 day at the most. I mean, we didn't even start today until like 4 in the afternoon, and it's about 8, 9 o'clock now. So if we would have got an early start, we'd probably be just about done. So how to turbo your Miata over the weekend? It's coming along really good. Okay guys, we're just calling it quits today because we're hungry. We got pretty far here. Intercooler's mounted. We're probably going to stick the plastic dummy bumper back on. It's just off and out of the way for now. So yeah, intercooler's done. Piping's all ran. This side up to here. This is all mocked up. We actually did this a little bit of a different way. Most people, when they do the Miata kits, they drill a hole and they come out through the fender. We actually just made that hole there bigger. And then using some pieces came down. We actually have a piece that'll go right from here to here already made up. So got to order the Voodoo box and the tilt and oil pump so I can start on the drain repumper thing, surge tank. Then mass airflow meter is going to go right off the end of the turbo like this. Then I got to kind of figure out what I'm going to do for an air filter yet. I have one, I just don't know where I'll put it. Intake air temperature sensor's got to go in something. Probably it'll go right into this. Maybe I'll drill a hole and put it in there. That's about it. Got to order a performance exhaust for it. So one more day. We've only had a half a day in today, so one more good full day and she'll be done. And then the next step after that, of course, will be to add a methanol kit and turn it up even further. We'll pick up when we have some more. Okay guys, small update here. I've got about as far as I can go until I wait on more parts to come in the mail. Mainly the Voodoo box, which I never ordered yet, so can't even start it if I wanted to. Well, I guess technically I could. I just couldn't go into boost. The way that these Miatas work is they run off of a mass airflow meter system. They have an O2 system and they have an intake air temperature system. And apparently when they see boost, they don't have a map sensor, I don't believe. So they probably go off of airflow here, and the O2 sensor detects, you know, lean or rich issues. So more than likely the Voodoo box would be required to even drive the thing properly, even if I just tried to putt around. Well, with that being said, let me show you where we're at. So the turbo is not bolted down permanently yet, because I do have to still develop this Scavenge tank. So it's just kind of sitting where it goes. What I'm going to do is put a small plastic oil tank down in here that the drain could dump straight into. And then I got like a oil pump, not a Tilton, but it's similar to that, coming. And I'm going to try to put like a level indicator sensor in the tank too. This way the pump doesn't, so a lot of people just hook that Tilton pump up and have it run like 24/7. But the problem is if the pump's stronger, then moves more oil than the turbo dumps into the tank, then the pump runs dry a lot. So to make the pump last longer, I'm putting a sensor in the tank. I actually ordered a four-wheeler tank for a four-wheeler that has oil supply on board, and there's a low level indicator sensor built right in it. I'm going to try to make that work, and I'll just reverse the function of the indicator switch. Basically, I'll have it whenever the switch detects oil above that level, it's going to kick the oil pump on and drain it down, and then shut back off when it gets below it. Hopefully that'll keep the pump from running non-stop when the key's on. So that's the idea for that. I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. I ordered the pump and all that, and the tank with the sender unit. So just kind of stuck now, waiting. I didn't bother putting the downpipe on yet, although I did trial fit it. It fits good. Wastegate went ahead and ran straight to the nipple there because it's there. Now later down the road when we start tweaking this thing for more power, that will get ran to an intake manifold source with a boost controller on it. But for now we're leaving the stock cat, stock exhaust all on, and we're going to see what kind of power she makes, just like we did with the Integra. We'll do some comparisons. So we'll start out with it like this. Stock exhaust, cat, all that, and we'll see what she runs. And then we'll start making changes, like methanol kit will be one of the changes. Freer flowing exhaust, and then of course more boost. So here's how we ran it out. We ended up running through that hole right down there. Just kind of made the hole a little bigger so the clamp would fit. Okay. And we came around right here, right into the intercooler. Intercooler suspended. This side over here is where the blow-off valve is. Goes up around, comes right into here. And then I went ahead and used my stepper bit, and I took the intake air temperature sensor out of the air filter box, and I stuck it there. I was debating between sticking it here or maybe over here somewhere on this side of the system. But ideally the engine likes to know exactly what temperature the air coming in is. And this would kind of be false if I put it in the air filter or somewhere over in here, because obviously it's getting heated up and then recooled, and then who knows what temperature back here. Plus the second reason is down the road I am putting methanol injection on this, and I plan on putting the methanol injection nozzle right here. And I like to be able to see the intake temps drop when methanol hits them. I'll be using my LCD readout screen to watch that. So that's where we stand, guys. I can go ahead and finish up actually securing the intercoolers a little more, and the bumper can go back on. We're done under there. Tires can go back on. Pretty much just the oil Scavenge kit yet, the oil pump, the Voodoo box, and then the downpipe goes down and connects to the factory exhaust, and we are up and running. I went ahead and tied in the blow-off valve right here. I just found a vacuum source that happened to come off the throttle body, or yeah, behind the throttle body, off the intake manifold right here. And just used the T-fitting that came with the blow-off valve and teed her right in there. So the blow-off valve is hooked up. That's about it. That's all I can see that we did. Okay guys, get you caught up here. A couple more pieces have arrived. So what I've decided I'm going to do is, since I can't get to the oil pan on this thing, at least not easily. Some of you probably out there be like, oh, it ain't that bad. Well, it looks bad to me, and I'm not going to mess with it. So went ahead and invested a couple dollars in a few pieces to make it simpler. I got this oil pump. It's made by Boost Doctors, boostdoctors.com. This thing can pump oil, it can draw oil uphill, and of course push oil out under pressure. The second thing I got is this oil tank. This is off of a, what's it say here? Suzuki 94-700, I guess, I don't know. Basically, it's a used oil tank off some Suzuki that has a sending unit in it for when the oil level gets low, probably to light a light up on the dash. I've gone ahead and figured out which two wires get activated by that sensor. And what I've decided to do is go ahead and mount this and hide this back in here. It'll get bolted in. As you see, I have a nipple right here, and that'll go under this hose. And then that hose will drain right here out of the turbo. So that's the drain. It was just a piece of pre-formed hose I had from off an LS motor. I don't know what it is. We'll see how long it lasts. It seems to be braided and everything, so it should be pretty strong, handle heat with the oil. So the oil's going to drain down into this tank. Then whenever the sensor is tricked, now this will be act opposite of what I need, because you know this is supposed to not be engaged until the tank drops too low. Well, I want to engage it when the tank is too high, but since I can't reverse this, I'm going to use a relay and reverse the function of the relay. Reverse the function at the relay, I should say. So whenever the oil level gets up to where this tricks it, we will turn the pump on with the relay. The pump will pump the oil up. I'm going to go ahead and put a 90-degree nipple right in here, and it'll drain that catch can, push oil right back in the motor. Problem solved. So the goal for today is to get that plumbed up, finished, turbo mounted, finally finished, and maybe even get the downpipe down on it. Then the only thing I need yet, at that point I can fire it up, check for leaks and everything, but at that point I'm going to be waiting on the flying Miata Voodoo box, so I can go ahead and wire that into the ECU and go out and make a couple pounds of boost and see how she runs. So should be, most people order everything up ahead of time so they don't have these delays, but I'm so busy I didn't even have time. But she'll be running. Literally, I have less than 2 days invested, so the how to turbo your Miata over the weekend is definitely a possibility as long as you have all these items ahead of time. As we're currently sitting at less than 2 full days, probably about, all reality, about a day and a half. Okay, so I'll pick up the video when I have some more stuff to show you. Hey guys, back here with the final installment here of the kit itself. Just gotta get the exhaust wrapped up now, and the tuning fired her right up. She fired right up. What you're hearing there is that motor. That's actually something I hope we don't hear inside the car. I'll end up putting some sort of insulation around it if we do to quiet it down. But what's going on here is, I'll put the light behind it so you can see. Now you can see the oil level. There's plenty of space, and what's happening is that sending unit that's in there is tripped. There you go. See the level going up and down? Here comes the level up. And it's going to come on, and there it drops down. So that's what's happening. This pump is catching all the oil and running it in. Now, thank goodness I did it this way so I didn't have to hear that bastard run 24/7, huh? I think it'd be noisy. Still kind of noisy. I just hope you don't hear it inside the car. That'd be a pain in the butt. Let me sit inside here and listen and see if you can hear it. Yeah. Yep, you hear it. Now we'll do something about that. But anyway, that's where we stand, guys. Open downpipe for now. Oh, she stalled. She didn't like that, did she? battery unhooked, so she's relearning. Alright, well that's what we'll do. We'll figure out that noisy pump thing. I'll put some insulation around it or something. But got to get the downpipe connected to the cat yet. And then tires on it. Bolt this down, put the skirt in there, and should be done. So what's happening is this is pumping the oil up out of that tank. You feel the hot oil through here. And it's just going right back into the valve cover. Sweet. Alright guys, that's it for now. I'll pick up the video when we have something else to show you. Hey guys, so as you saw in the last little segment, finally got to run the Boost Doctor's oil pump for the first time, and it was loud as hell. So loud that even in the car, even though it kicked on for a few seconds, it was like rah, rah, and just fucking ridiculously loud. I tried putting stuff around it, nothing quietened it down. So I got to thinking, hey, maybe, you know, the sound that we're hearing is because these brass gears are just spinning it so fast against each other. Why not slow it down? So I went and got a DC controller. This is a DC motor controller. This is used for stuff like, you know, electric motors to control their speed. It's got a little dial right here. You can turn up and down. And I tested it. I'm in the process of actually hooking it up. Just got some generic electronics box here I'm going to stuff it in. So what this will let me do is actually cut the voltage down. There's a couple ways I could have done this. I could have used a resistor, stuff like that. But I did this, but that way I can actually adjust what I want. I already had a couple of these laying around for other projects. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hook it up. We're going to set the amount of speed to where it's enough to suck the oil out quickly. What I'll do is I'll find a happy medium of both. I'll make it as quiet as I can, but at the same time make sure that this tank doesn't overfill. In preliminary testing here, just with hooking the wires up and running it, this thing barely needs to turn at all. It's a heck of a good pump. It was sucking the... I mean, I'm still running off the sensor in here, and it was like, you know, so quiet I couldn't even hear it over the motor with the motor running. So it's definitely going to work. So I'll pick up with some video here once I have it all finished, and I'll show you guys how the difference in sound is. Alright guys, it's all wired up. And as you see, I know we have open downpipe, but you still can't even hear it. Listen. Watch. You'll see a light come on here when the float level in the tank. There, see? Oil got high. Oil got back down low. Still plenty. Even with having barely any current going to this little pump, it's still easily able to pump that tank dry. There's no need to be running this thing on full bore. It moves a lot of oil. As you can see, it cycles on and off pretty regular there. Problem solved. No longer can hear the pump. I'll seal all this up, and oil drain is solved. It's unfortunate that it took all this electronics and doodads to make it work for the way I want to do it, but you know what? I wasn't pulling this motor or going through all that hassle of drilling this pan, getting shavings in it, and risking getting bearings, you know, shavings in the bearings. You can't take the pan off to do it right. So, you know, it's an aluminum pan. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so probably be the last video I shoot for now until I get actually the Miata box, get the thing wired up, and get the downpipe on the rest of the way. I actually have the downpipe on, I just don't have it connected to the cat. There's a small piece in there I have to put in. Other than that, she's about ready to start ripping. What do you guys think? I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, one of the final installments of the How to Turbo Your Miata over the weekend video. The Voodoo box has arrived. I'll show you that in a second. So what I've done here is, as I showed you, is hooked up the pump, hooked up the controller, put the controller inside this plastic box, and I'll fasten that down there with the relay. That's now quiet. You can't hear it when the motor's running. Still empties the tank perfectly fine. Everything under here is pretty much done. Put my wideband sensor in and suction cupped it to the windshield there, so I tune with. And then I got the Voodoo box, and then Got the ECU wires hanging down here. I'm getting ready to do the tap in there. Got the box apart so I can get to the pot switches. This is how you tune it. And of course that's all in their instructions, so you'll follow their instructions for that, not mine. But just wanted to show you. So I'm going to get the Voodoo box wired in and then install a boost gauge. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. And once I have the boost gauge installed and this installed, I will go out and do some street tuning. And we'll see. It's supposed to be an 8-pound wastegate spring, but as I realized in the past with a lot of these cars, when you leave the factory cat and the factory restrictive mufflers on them, you don't make near that much. It'll probably end up making about 5, maybe 6 pounds. I'll have to put a boost controller on it if I want to get much more than that. But that's not the objective right now. The objective right now is just to get it running perfect the way it is, and then we'll make some passes at the track when they open up in the spring. And then from there, we'll do a free flow. We'll do the same mods we did to the Integra, except for, you know, obviously the Integra needed methanol right from the get-go, whereas this didn't. We will, though, we'll put methanol in this and free flow and exhaust, and we'll crank the boost. See if we can't get this thing to run 12 seconds in a quarter mile. Should be pretty exciting. We don't know what it actually runs because we've never taken it. Car and Driver and other websites with these automatics are kind of all over the place. So what we've done is we've raced some friends with known times, with, you know, cars that are known. Namely the CRX, the stock single cam CRX. You've seen us race before in some videos. He runs on street tires. He averages around a 16.2 in a quarter mile. And the mile an hour is usually 80 something. And when we street race, whether it's from a digger or a roll, he just runs away from this thing, just gone. Which he did to the Integra at first too. You know, the Integra we know ran 18s at first. This is a little faster than the Integra was, not much, a little bit. So this is, we're guessing this is a 17-second car right now. So with the turbo kit and a couple pounds of boost, we'll see if it cannot run the CRX. It'll be the first guy we go up against in installment videos until the track opens. Alright, I'll pick up some video in a bit. Alright guys, we've taken the car out and done some tuning with the Miata box. Ran into a small issue where the bung I had stuck in leaked. And we had some drippage going on, so we've squared that away now, hopefully, with some epoxy. But added a filter here for this breather. And of course the PCV valve, you don't want, this used to connect into that, and you don't want to be pushing boost pressure back into your crankcase. So just go ahead and put a breather on that, Also realized that we had the blow off valve and boost gauge and all our signals hooked up to this vacuum source here that went to a solenoid for something. It looks like for evap. So every time that solenoid would chatter, it would let air go and it would make the boost gauge wobble and give an inaccurate reading. So we've put that back to normal and ran up here to a vacuum source that goes right into the heater control. So that no longer will do that. Other than that, she feels good. She's on about 6 pounds. Air-fuel ratios are set into the low 11s. And feels like it pulls strong. We're going to go out here in a little bit once this epoxy sets up, and we're going to run against... We're going to go to Mexico and race a CRX that we have time slips with. We know what it runs. We'll get a comparison. Pick up video with that. Okay guys, little update video. Sorry about the heater running, it's cold in here. So we went out and tuned it last night using the Voodoo box. Very simple to do, highly recommend it. But we ran into a small issue. The issue is, this is a mass airflow meter car. We had the mass airflow meter over here coming off the turbo. It was drawing through it. Well, the problem we're having is when you would abruptly come out of the throttle and the blow-off valve would go off, since it's a non-recirculating blow-off valve, and any of you that are into like Mitsubishis and other cars that require mass airflow meters in our turbo, you'll know how important that blow-off valve recirculation is to avoid stuttering and stalling. Well, it got even worse than that, because even if we would try to recirculate it, because it was drawing right through the inlet here, the compressor wheel would cause some sort of weird turbulences, like the compressor would stay spinning higher and work its way down as the engine had already RPM down, so there was more air being drawn through than the engine was using, and it was just causing minor issues, not drivability. Full throttle was great. We went out and raced a couple guys in Mexico. A couple friends of ours that we know what their cars run. The car's running really strong at 6 psi. but when you would come to an abrupt stop or burp it at the at an idle, it would flutter and want to stall sometimes. So here's what we've done. We're in the process of moving the mass airflow meter over to this side, on the charge side. It is an airtight meter, so it can handle pressure inside, and we're not going to be running high boost, so I'm not worried about being plastic. So basically I'm fabricating a pipe down here, so I know it's hard to see, but the mass airflow meter is going to be in line with that. And I just rechanged the direction of this. Now, I wanted the intake air temperature sensor after the mass airflow meter because I input methanol in this eventually, and obviously methanol can't spray through the airflow, the mass air meter. So the methanol nozzle is going to go right here, which will be perfect. It'll be after the meter and before the IAT sensor, so the methanol will hit it. And it's going to work great. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just changing the wiring so it'll reach over, and I'm going to get this squared up and go out and do some driving today, and should be able to get this video compiled and up on the internet tonight to show you guys how to turbo your Miata over the weekend. So future plans for this car will be a methanol kit, because these are high compression. Technically, even 6 pounds of boost is on the edge for with 93 octane in these high compression motors, but it's running strong, so I'm letting it alone for now. I just won't turn it up any higher. It is going through the restrictive cat and stock exhaust next way down. So future plans will be methanol injection, free-flowing cat delete and cat back exhaust, and then of course more boost, probably somewhere around 10 pounds or so. And then we'll see how this little thing rips then. All right, I'll pick up some video when I have some more to report. Okay guys, last video of this segment until we do mods down the road. Moving that mass airflow meter over there was the ticket. This car runs and drives now exactly as if it came from the factory turbocharged. The drivability is phenomenal, and that's an understatement. It just no stalls, no stutters, no hiccups, no burps, transitions in and out of boost like a beautiful thing. Just like it was meant to do this. Highly recommend the Voodoo box. Very easily to tune with, hacks right into the factory ECU. I haven't touched the fuel pump, haven't touched the injectors, nothing. This box spoofs the O2 sensor and intercepts the signal to the injector, so it makes them pulse longer, so it gives it more fuel. Having no problems supplying enough fuel at 6 psi. Probably wouldn't even have any issue supplying fuel up to 7 or 8 psi, but bear in mind guys, high compression motors in these Miatas and boost and 93 octane can be an issue when it comes to not being able to pull the timing. So we're going to stick around, we're going to stay at the 6 psi. Once we put methanol on it, the methanol will also supplement fueling. More than likely we'll have to really pull away the fueling the Voodoo box is helping to add, dial that down a lot, let the methanol for the most part take over. And at that point the Voodoo box will just be slightly helping and pretty much doing the spoofing for the O2 sensor. Then of course with the methanol having the more octane, we're going to be golden. Be able to crank this baby up until we can make whatever power we feel safe with the automatic transmission and the factory rods. From what I understand, somewhere probably around 250 wheel horsepower. So we still have a ways to go with her. But yep, drivability issues 100% solved by moving the mass airflow meter over there. Car runs and drives. It's like she came from the factory like this. I'm on some back roads now, just with lots of in and out of throttle, transitional type driving, just to get a feel for her. Only thing I gotta really wind up now is to put all these wires away, tuck all this stuff away, out of sight, out of mind, and make a bracket for the exhaust. The exhaust bangs off the frame every once in a while, as I didn't hang it when I had to make a connection pipe from the down pipe to the factory cat. It's just kind of the flex joint that's in there lets it vibrate off the frame a little, depending when you're in or out of throttle and the motor shifts. So that's it, boys and girls. How to turbo your Miata over the weekend. That is, as long as you have everything that you need to do it. And whoa, she broke free there. That was awesome. By all means, not fast by what my standards are, guys, but Jesus, this car was a dog before, and she is fun now. That's awesome. 6 pounds of boost, and like you saw in the video, pretty much well, I don't know if I'll put it in this video or a separate one, but went out and raced against my buddy's Genesis. He has a Genesis GT, no slouch. They're a low 14-second car, and Since he can't launch for crap, he's not a very good launcher. From a dig, I destroyed him, but from a roll, it was even for a little bit, and then he would slightly pull away. So that tells you we're making some power to run with them cars. All right, guys, video's over. jsracingproducts.net. Hit me up if you're interested in making your Miata run like this. I can put all these components together for you in a kit. So you just get a hold of me and be able to get you everything. You won't have to do any of the homework yourself. Slap her together, follow the video, and your Miata will be ripping. Talk to you later. Okay, guys, we're here in Mexico. We're going to run against CRX here. Just waiting for the Mexican traffic to get by us. 3 honks, go off your honks. This looks good. Okay, so in the past, this CRX has shit on this car and it's like left it sitting. Without any, I didn't really boost it up off the line there. He got a good clutch dump on me because this thing just likes to spin. But as you see, totally new ball game here. We'll do a roll race against him here and see how we do. I think we're only at 6 pounds. I'll check the boost gauge this time to be sure. But yeah, we definitely shit all over him. And I know he runs low 16s on street tires and 15/8s on slicks. We just ran away from him, which means this thing's definitely in the 15s. So it's a 2-second drop at the minimum. So we'll do a roll race here and see how that works out. All right, guys, we're going out here and do a roll race against him. Just gonna let this thing right in drive. Now I'll shift it. Give us the most advantage we can get. There we go. And we ran away from him, left him sit. Let's try her again here. Brake boosted now. Times. It's working good. A little rich there on the top end of that gear, but they say rich is better than lean. And we know we're running away from him. So, a little ways to go with this car, guys. Bear with us. We're going to put methanol eventually on it. We're going to put a free-flowing exhaust. Right now it's going through the stock cat and twin mufflers this thing has. It's real quiet. We'll get her ripping. Talk to you soon.
What you want?